losing your last game is always tough. Haven't been doing this long enough to properly help our guys in the locker room. Certainly feel bad for everybody, but as I told them in there, we just didn't play well enough to win. And that's not what they want to hear, but that's the reality of it. I thanked the returnees and the 4 seniors especially for their receptiveness to me and my staff's new ideas, new approach, and they didn't sign up to play for us, but boy, did they give us a chance to be successful in our first year. And I told them I'd always remember them for that because it didn't have to be that way. It could have been much worse. But because of their character, because of their wanting to win, it says a lot about who they are as people, and they're going to be successful one day. But getting back to the game, we had that patch in the first half where we were up 6. They had called timeout, and it was right before the media, and they went on a 9-0 run. And the game changed quickly, and we talk all the time about one possession changing the flow and the momentum of the game. And for me, that was the section of the game where we lost that flow and that edge. And then in the second half, it went back and forth. I mean, guys were making threes. There was that one stretch where it seemed like 3 or 4 in a row were made, and in the end, we just couldn't keep them off the backboards. 18 offensive rebounds is a recipe for a loss, and then we had too many turnovers as well.
Really physical. They were physical the whole game. Just couldn't get it going in the second half.
What they were doing to get so many offensive boards, what did you see?
They were aggressive. They went to the offensive glass hard, and they got them. We didn't check out hard enough. They had a rebounding mindset, and they went out and executed it.
Credit to their guards. They were aggressive from start to finish, and we wasn't really prepared. They got to us in the first half, and I think we did a decent job in the second half, especially in the beginning. But throughout the whole game, they were aggressive, and that knocked us off the edge a little bit. Yeah, aggressive, taking it to the hoop, getting fouls, getting to the free throw line, and just making the game easier for them and their teammates.
I was on the court. I was 100% ready to play, and things just didn't go our way tonight.
Speak from my perspective. Credit to our guys, credit to our coach, Coach Jans. He did a great job this year, and I'm glad to be with him, be able to experience 20 wins with him, and going to the postseason, whether if we're in the CIT or whatever, we're still gonna play with a chip on our shoulder. We still gonna compete. We still gonna treat each day like it's a championship day, and that's what we're gonna do from here on.
Good experience. I'm sure I'll be able to look back on it later and realize that we had a good season, but it's tough to see it right now.
He's had a good turnaround. When I first got the job, a lot of people had an opinion of Richaun. He's talent, etc. And when I got there in the spring and worked out with those guys, he didn't take an expert to figure out that he had a lot of talent in the world, but he just didn't have a good, consistent daily approach. And we hammered away on him daily and tried to push and prod him and ask for more and try to set the expectations higher for him. And throughout the summer, we had some good days, some bad days. Then this fall, it just kind of clicked. And he decided to dive in head first. And he just made leaps and bounds with his improvement. And it helped our team become successful because when your best player works like that, I think everybody follows suit. We asked him to put on some weight, put on 10, 15 pounds of muscle heading into the year because we knew we were going to be a little bit undersized. We had to have him play the 5, and he never blinked an eye at it. And it's unfortunate that he had the injury late in the season. He played awfully well all year long, and in my opinion, if we win that Buffalo game, he's probably the player of the year and would have been very, very deserving. And then obviously, he hasn't practiced hardly at all since then, and came out and played like a warrior the first half, had 16 points, and only had 2 in the second because you could tell, he was just didn't have enough gas left in the tank because of just being out for so long.
Going forward, you like his chances of having a career?
He's going to have a career. You know, I've never coached or played in the NBA, obviously, so I'm not very good at projecting those guys and the levels. Sometimes guys get drafted and I roll my eyes, and other times, you know, I'm just not very good at projecting that. But he's going to have a definite career, and in the end, you know, it'll be up to him.
Chris, he only had one basket in the second half. It came really early. He only had one shot. Didn't seem like he had a lot of touches. Was that what Eastern was doing? What
That's what zones do. I mean, that's the whole idea, is to pack it in and make you shoot it. And, you know, he didn't have very many shots the first game. I think he had 5 or 6 shots. I think he was 4 for 5 or 5 for 6. And certainly they're going to game plan like everybody does against him. And I like the fact that we didn't go up and just chuck up a bunch of threes. We were 6 for 13, so we were pretty efficient in that matter. But, you know, at the end of the day, it was the rebounding was the deal. I mean, 35 to 27, 18 offensive. We had 6. You know, you talk about those guards, and they were good, and they were a handful, but they were also 14 for 37 from the field. You know, it wasn't like we weren't guarding them because they were. It's just that our first stop defense was pretty good. It just we couldn't secure enough defensive rebounds, and that just deflates you.
We talk also about the turnovers. They had a volume of shots, but only had 7 turnovers. I don't think they had any in the second half.
Yeah, they did an excellent job of taking care of the basketball, and you could see they were aggressive early. 2 or 3 of our early passes when we were swinging the ball were near steals by them, and we survived them. And unfortunately, they kept aggressive, and we didn't adjust to it very well, and they ended up getting some steals and some runouts. And again, I don't want to belabor the point, but I just felt like that timeout they took ended up being a very good move by them, because it really changed the tenor of the game.
Coach, February 14th, you guys would have been the number 1 seed had the tournament started then. Had some tough losses down the stretch. Do you equate any of that to the fact the guys on your roster had played a lot of meaningful late season, postseason games?
I'm not smart enough to figure that out. You know, we prepare every game like it's the Super Bowl, regardless if it's the first game, the middle of the season, or the last game. It's the same approach that our staff has, and we try to bleed it into our players. But certainly, you know, we had put ourselves in a wonderful position, and I can't put my finger on it. I don't know. The week where we lost to Buffalo and Miami at home, I think that's the week you're talking about, we were in the driver's seat. But I'm not sure if, you know, our collective group had ever been in that situation at BG where we went from hunting everyone to being hunted, and it's a different mindset. And we probably didn't adjust to that very well. We probably couldn't handle a little bit of a success very well. And then in the end, you know, the week we had it again, we were up 1 going into the last week of the season at home against Kent at Buffalo. Same scenario. But in that scenario, we actually had learned from those mistakes and played pretty well. I was happy with our overall play in the Kent game at home and even in Buffalo. We had multiple chances to win both of those games where we make a free throw, we get an official's call, goes our way, 1 bounce, and you know, we're not talking because we don't play till Friday, but that's the way it went down.
Chris, do you feel your team's season's over, or what would be your play for the postseason?
You know, I hope we can continue to play. It's been a while since they've had a postseason berth in any postseason tournament for that matter, and I think it'd be good for the program. I think it'd be rewarding for the seniors, and it certainly would help, you know, our returnees get some more playing time and get a taste of continued taste of what postseason play is all about, but time will tell.
If you were to sell your team in a postseason, what would be the things you'd sell?
I mean, I think we're a competitive group. You know, I think we can, you know, match up with a lot of folks, and come game time when they tip it off, they're going to play right, they're going to play hard, and they're going to compete, and they'll be excited to play if we get that opportunity.